Women should remain silent in the churches. They are not allowed to speak, but must be in submission, as the law says. If they want to inquire about something, they should ask their own husbands at home. For it is disgraceful for a woman to speak in the church.
Samuel said to Saul, I am the one the Lord sent to anoint you king over his people Israel. So listen now to the message from the Lord. This is what the Lord Almighty says. I will punish the Amalekites.
Jésus, par ton sang précieux, enlève mon iniquité. Regarde-moi sur les cieux, dis-moi que tu m'as pardonné. J'ai longtemps erré cœur rebelle, mais j'entends ta voix qui m'appelle. Au pied de ta croix maintenant, tout confus, brisé, je me rends. Blanc, blanc, plus blanc que neige, blanc, blanc, plus blanc que neige, lavé dans le sang de l'agneau, je serai plus blanc que la neige.
Now go, attack the Amalekites, and totally destroy all that belongs to them. Do not spare them. Put to death men and women, children and infants, cattle and sheep, camels and donkeys. 1 Samuel 15.
Greetings. It is my privilege, my honor, my pleasure. And for some reason, I see that my sound is not going out there, and I want to make sure that everything is okay. 1 second with the audio. Yes, calling shows. Okay. For some reason, my sound is not working. Quit. Okay, let's do that again. Let's make sure that the sound is working now. Let's make sure. Verify it again. Call-in shows. Unfortunately, my sound it seems to be giving a hard time this evening. Wow. Okay. My apologies, folks. This program, God is not white, and we are in the 13th episode, which we bring to you every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Okay, so our brothers are saying that they hear fine, everything is good now. Thank you very much. I wanted to ensure that we don't have the problem that we had last week. The sound was not up to par. Okay, so for those of you who have been following this program since the beginning, that is since the December the 25th, 2004, you know that God is Not White is based on my book Viv Bondye à bas religion, published in the year 2000 in Haitian Creole. Today, we will be looking at a concept that I have been promoting, developing, elaborating since the publication of the book. And I would like to read your thoughts on the topic as well. And so, as we do every week, we will share a slide presentation with you. And in that slide presentation, you will also find some information that probably will not be new, but also some perhaps that will be new. And then there's a list of references at the end that you could also consult to further your reading on the topic. And so let us take a look at what we have on our plate for this evening. Twin Deceits. This is the theme. In Haitian Creole, the term is Doub manti, double lies. And you will see why we consider these deceits or lies to be twins, and why in Haitian Creole we say Doub manti fait dekabès. The twin deceits have allowed to double the gain. For those who play dominoes, I don't know if we all play dominoes the same way, but we will discuss that further. The topics are as follows. The first deceit, God is not white. We will say a few words about that. We will discuss a problematic masterpiece in terms of painting and art piece. It's called Oath of the Ancestors, Le Serment des Ancêtres. And then we will say a few words about the second deceit and the relationship between the first deceit and the second deceit. The second one being whiteness is godly. And then we will say a few words to bring this concept from religion to its actual application in real life. Tarzan, Tintin, Jesus, the same metaphor. We will explain later on. And then we'll cover in the fifth piece, Tintin and Macron au Congo, or in Congo, Bill Clinton and Justin Trudeau in Haiti. Again, we will elaborate and make it make sense. We will attempt at least. And the final piece is titled, Time is Up. It's 5 minutes to midnight for white Jesus. All right, are you ready? Yes, Marinadine Pierre is ready. Right to Right is ready. And so we say to all of you, brothers and sisters who have joined, please make sure that you like, you subscribe, you share, and please share beyond Facebook, YouTube, and the things that you know where I'm present. So, for instance, this evening I have not had the opportunity to post it on X or Twitter. So if you have an X account, and then you can just copy the Facebook or the YouTube link and post it on your X, and that would be one way of helping spread the word. And those of you who are very, very skilled at TikTok, let us make sure that tapoter, like the live and share it, and then we will do that. And so every now and again, for those of you who are on TikTok, I might be able to flip the camera to give you a sense of what the slides are, but really it won't be possible to do that on a continual basis. But again, this is to tell you that you could also follow this on the other platforms. All right. We covered many other topics to get us to this point, right? Last week, we saw how I conceived the difference between God and religion, saying that they are day and night. We talk about the fact that this religion that we're talking about, Judeo-Christianity, is a dictatorship of old white men in long robes, because it is their words, their votes, their Jesus, their book, therefore, for their purpose. And we gave plenty of examples of how Judeo-Christianity has been the plaything of European imperialists. We also spoke about how the book came to be, the Bible, and whose words are in that book that is called the Word of God. And we really, I hope, tried to give factual information to demystify these decisions that were made by old white men in long robes in Rome a few hundred years ago. We also spoke about some of the main players in Judeo-Christianity, namely Constantine and Paul of Tarsus. And we discussed why Paul was Christian, but not Jesus. So we spoke about how Christianity was established, and I also introduced how Christianity arrived in Haiti and how it has evolved over the years, and how personally I became acquainted with that faith, being the son and grandson of Episcopalian priest, that is, African Americans who escaped persecution, enslavement in the United States, and migrated to Haiti because Haiti had declared independence and abolished racial slavery, was the only people who had abolished racial slavery at the beginning of the 19th century. All right. And so now we are ready, ready to go. Yes, our sisters and brothers are carrying pictures of white Jesus. They are very in love with that image. They're also in love with the image of the white God, the old man with the beard. We all are familiar with that image. But if I present this current slide to you, the question is, which of these two paintings is controversial? The painting to the right is the first one, um, Creazione di Adamo. My apologies to the Italians for massacring their language like that. By Michelangelo. That was from 1508, between 1508 and 1512. There are very few people who consider this painting to be controversial now. We're very familiar with it, and these paintings are exposed in the Sixtine Chapel in the Vatican, along with all kinds of other images of white God, white Jesus, white angels, and it is supposed to be a universal God. Yeah, of course, that's how God looks. And in the minds of non-white people who had been colonized, this has also been normalized. And so we talk about that. But last week we talked about the creation of God, a painting by Sister Harmonia Rosales from 2017. And yes, there are people who claim that this is controversial. And so why? Why is this one controversial and not the one by Michelangelo? Well, Frantz Fanon, the author of Black Skin, White Mask, provide an answer to our question. And he says, indeed, even the merciful God is white, with a bushy beard and bright pink cheeks. The conclusion? One is white as one is rich, as one is beautiful, as one is intelligent. And the corollary, he is Negro who is immoral. To become moral in this scheme of the universe, Fanon tells us it is necessary to cease being a Negro, cease being true to history and himself. From Black Skin, White Mask. This is from 1952. Still holds true today. And so this first deceit that we are talking about here, that is the image, the depiction, the picture. And of course, there are people who will just dismiss this. Well, but that's just an image. That's just art. You don't need to, make a big deal about that. And we will see why we have had to take the time to talk about the history of the creation of these white icons and how they have been popularized. Um, um, these auto portraits, for instance, of Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, and others that were popularized in Europe and then throughout the world. And we mentioned the fact that these are not only inside of Christian literature, but even in Haiti, in a voodoo temple, you will find those same white icons to represent deity, God, Jesus, etc. Yeah. Okay. So what's the big deal? Okay. Oath of the Ancestor. This painting, completed in 1822, was gifted to Haiti by a brother from Guadeloupe, Guillaume Guillon Letière. And we say here, to provide some context about this painting that came to my knowledge back in 1998 when it was discovered or rediscovered in Haiti, restored, and they had kept it in the National Palace in Haiti. And when I heard about that, I had written to the Haitian government. And in the next slide, we will see why I had written to the government of Haiti and what I said, what I proposed to them. But in 1823, this brother from Guadeloupe took great risk to offer this monumental gift to Haiti, the young Caribbean island nation established by self-liberated Africans. Guillaume Letière was white passing, but he knew and honored his African mother. This was the case for many of the folks that they called mulatto or quateron, all kinds of crazy names back in the day. His huge painting, Le Serment des Ancêtres, was clearly meant as a celebration of African freedom and dignity. The artist signed Laitière, né à la Guadeloupe, knowing full well that France, which claimed dominion over the native slave colony, his native slave colony, did not accept its defeat at the hands of Haiti's general Jean-Jacques Dessalines and the ferocious African freedom fighters that he led at Vertières. So Laitière's behavior as a Frenchman born in Guadeloupe, his behavior was both brave and subversive. However, it was more than that. Because who are these individuals that we are looking at in this painting? The main characters, or I can say main, but in reality, there are three main characters in this painting. The two black men there, one with lighter skin, would easily be identified as being Pétion, one of the mixed race folks who participated in the Haitian Revolution. First, he was a French soldier, just like all the others, but then he joined the Africans who revolted and is considered a father of Haitian independence. Although there are some other controversies about Pétion, but we're not going to cover that here. And on the right would be Dessalines, the father of Haiti, the liberator of Haiti, the emperor who created the Empire of Liberty in 1804. But who is this character that Guillaume Laitière paints there? Of course, we recognize that this is the same face, the same character that uh, we saw from Leonardo da Vinci, his self-portraits, and Michelangelo took the same idea and others as well. Yeah, this is supposed to be God. But this, again, like we said, this painting is both subversive and brave for Laitière to gift it to Haiti in 1823, because to take this painting inside of Haiti was no small feat. It's a huge painting, it's tall. It was expensive. Okay? You could not really sneak this so that, no one noticed it. It's a big painting. Okay? But who are these people? Dessalines and Pétion were fighting the French, who were all white slavers. Yet someone who is honoring them puts the picture of an old white man on top of them as if to bless their action, the liberation of Haiti. So this tells you that even a black man or mixed race, whatever, as Guillaume Laitière, who obviously was proud of the Haitian Revolution, could not imagine a black God, could not imagine God being black, looking like Dessalines, not even mulatto looking like Pétion, but looking like Napoleon Bonaparte, the actual enemy that both of these men were actually fighting. And so when I heard about this painting, I wrote to the Haitian government and said that my advice to them is that when they receive this painting, to not just expose it like that, but to write a little story, a little explanatory note, so that students, young impressionable children who are coming to watch this, can understand why this white man is up there and why is it a white man. Why is it not a black woman like we saw in the painting by Sister Harmonia Rosales, to provide some context. And the Haitian government, I don't think, ever listened to me. This painting that you see, this picture you see here, that's me in the Haitian National Palace. That was, I believe, in the year 1998, or is it in 2000 that I was in National Palace, and that I had this picture taken. Yeah, I didn't see the note that I had encouraged them to put in there. This painting is still apparently in Haiti. And to explain what we've just discussed, Frantz Fanon in The Wretched of the Earth tells you, I speak of the Christian religion and no one need to be astonished. The church in the colonies is the white people's church, the foreigners' church. She does not call the native to God's ways, but to the ways of the white man, of the master, of the oppressor. There's no but, if, nah, it's just that. Okay, and Frantz Fanon said it, and there's nothing to add to explain how this came to be. Okay, and so we said that this first deceit, disturbing as it might be, is not really the most dangerous. The first deceit, God is white, is a clever trick which begat the second deceit, Whiteness is godly, which is even more important for the deceivers. The ultimate goal is to establish whiteness as godly. This is a quote from Viv Bondye à Religion. And as we've been saying all these years, just like when you're playing dominoes, you cannot actually do dekabès with double white. Okay, so if you have a double in your hand, and then there is a white uh, at this end of the dominoes, and then there's a white at this other end of the other end of the dominoes, and you have double white in your hand, you do not win twice because it's a double. You cannot. You're not supposed to. If you had, let's say, one and white, and then there was one here and white here, then yes, you win twice. But you're not supposed to have double play or double win with a double. And that's why we take this analogy to say Doub manti fait dekabès. In other words, they cheated by presenting a twin deceit. And so the second deceit is the most important one. It's there because the first deceit helped it to subconsciously enter our minds, and over time, it becomes reality. And this is why we say imaginary white Jesus is mere metaphor. White dominance is the real thing. We will elaborate on that later. The picture at the bottom is from a conference on reparations that we attended in Caracas, Venezuela in 2018. And there I was presenting the three criminals who participate in the colonial crime always: the militaries, so the armies of France, Spain, Germany, Sweden. Yes, indeed, countries like Sweden participated in the crime of kidnapping Africans and enslaving them in the Americas. Denmark, Holland, Spain, all of them. England, of course, the United States. So the militaries who take over territories that don't belong to them, the merchants who come to take the gold, to take the ivory, to take whatever of value that you have in your country that they want to steal. Now they're talking about rare earth, but back then Columbus, could only think of gold, and so was all the other ones that came to steal what did not belong to them. But there's always a third criminal: the missionaries. Yes, the three M's: the militaries to steal the land, the merchants to steal the resources, and the missionaries to steal your brain capacity, your ability to resist, by telling you that God had decreed for you to be enslaved by your oppressors. And then Paul is ready to tell you, all authorities come from God, slaves obey your masters, and all this other nonsense that we discussed earlier. And so when we say the second deceit is the most dangerous, the deadliest one, and the most important one for the deceiver, it's because God is white, may disturb some people, might make some people uncomfortable because, the child would like to see someone who look like them being the representation of the most important entity, the creator. But again, to a certain extent, this is just about ego, and that's not where the greatest problem is. But blanc c'est bon Dieu, or whiteness is godly, is about ideology, and it has spread throughout the world. So, for instance, when a white pastor in the United States leaves his country and goes into Haiti to go to the site of Bois-Caïman revolt, where the Africans revolted, with Haitian pastors, black Haitian pastors, and they start claiming that they are organizing a Christian ceremony to take Haiti away from Satan and to dedicate Haiti to white Jesus. That's a manifestation of whiteness passing as being godly. Because this white pastor knows all full well that he's really out of his league going to talk to another people about what is and what isn't appropriate in terms of moral value and all of these things. Whiteness is godly is when people who are descendants of Africa, descendants of the Africans that they had kidnapped and taken to the Americas, such as Pastor Earl Carter, that we discussed earlier, declares that, well, I am glad the ships came. If they didn't come, we would not have known God. Yeah, that's when whiteness is godly had entered your brain and you have done lost your mind. Whiteness is godly is when Haitians on the internet are asking the Haitian government to employ foreign, and by that they mean white coaches for the national soccer team because they presume that white coaches will give better results than black coaches. And we've all watched the World Cup. For many years, there was no such thing as a black coach. And they even had theories about all of this nonsense, just like they said at a certain time that blacks could not play tennis. And then the Williams sisters showed up. And, before them, there were other people who showed up, but they still pretended not, to have seen that their little theory had been discredited long ago. Now, I think Serena and Venus have made that pretty clear. Oh, yeah, we will talk some more tennis by the end of this episode. Okay, whiteness is godly is when someone who's in Africa and then they send a Canadian to be the expert in development, and then it happens to be a black Canadian, and then the African saying, no, 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 we were expecting a Canadian. Whiteness is godly is when a black Haitian is asking the United States to invade Haiti so that Haiti can be developed just like white man's country. Yes. The first deceit, God is white, is a clever trick which begat the second deceit, whiteness is godly, which is even more important for the deceivers, the ultimate goal being to state, to establish whiteness as being godly. And so we say that white Jesus is nothing but a metaphor, just like Tarzan, just like Tintin. And if you look at the fact that white Jesus, like Tarzan, never existed, and if you just stopped at that, you are missing the point. The character developed by the Romans, although it's an imaginary character, it exists. It exists in the minds and souls of broken people. And this has caused and is still causing severe neurological damage to billions around the globe. So, no, I'm not willing to dismiss this. Because in order to heal our world, both deceits need uprooting. Faut que nous déchouquer saloperie yo. Faut que nous déchouquer Jésus blanc. So we need to uproot the image of Leonardo da Vinci passing as God, Michelangelo passing as God, but we must also uproot that ridiculous idea that whiteness is godly. We must come to terms with the simple ancient truth proclaimed by Dessalines, much respect to him forever, and our noble African ancestors in 1803, Haiti. Tout moun c'est moun. Simply put, we are all humans, nothing more and nothing less. And so I say Tarzan, Tintin, Jesus, yes, they are metaphor. And we need to acknowledge that whether it is being followed by a Caucasian inheritor of the religion built by the Roman Empire, or by descendants of peoples who survived European colonization, Christianity is white and supremacist. The self portraits of Leonardo da Vinci, popularized as Jesus, Son of God, is a strong metaphor that accurately depicts the narcissistic nature of Euro Christianity. Indeed, the idea and all of these paintings that you see that, the white God in heaven sent his white son to go and save all of humanity, this is severe narcissistic ideas. And we see it also in Tarzan, right? This white man alone in Africa. Africans have been in Africa forever, since the beginning of times, mingling with the animals. But there's one human who can talk to the animals. It happens to be the white man who just showed up. Now, how? I mean, yes, self-confidence can be a good thing, but it reaches a point where no, that's a disease. And so you have Tarzan finds a son. And of course, Tarzan, his wife, his children, they're all white in the middle of Africa, and they're the ones doing all the incredible things, just like Tintin, who goes to the Congo and is, solving all kinds of mysteries that the Africans who were there could never solve themselves. So this is not only in literature. That's not where it is in real life. And just like when we talk about the icons or the pictures, it is not Jesus alone who is portrayed as white European. His entire family, his disciples, and even the fictional angels found in Christian literature were, for the longest time, all presented white. And I recall, for instance, when the Jehovah Witnesses used to come in front of my house in Cafoufeu, Haiti, in Port-au-Prince, those meetings used to last only a few seconds, because as soon as they would show me a watchtower literature, and I would start flipping, and I'd say, well, I don't know, man. I see a whole bunch of white people, white Jesus, white God, white Moses, white Abraham. Like, why are you wasting my time here? Look around. Do you see anybody who look like all of these people that I've just mentioned that are in your book? Why is the white man sending you to proselytize with these ridiculous books? But of course, if you take a watchtower literature from the Jehovah's Witness in 2025, you will see everybody walking around with African boo-boos, and they're dressed like the Asians from China. It's a united world, man. We all all of a sudden they came to their senses and realized that the business is going to collapse if they continue like that. At the time, only the devil at the feet of St. Michael and a few affirmative action biblical characters here and there were deemed to be black. Some like Solomon's mistress used to get, the fake praise of being black but beautiful. Not black and beautiful, black but beautiful. Indeed, there is no confusion about it. The Christian superstition was established by a specific people to serve their specific wants. That's hard historical fact. And so this fool that you see in the picture to the right here, his name was George Harry Galt, a British colonial officer arriving in Ibanda in 1905. And they say that a tired Ugandan, one of the natives there, who were forced to carry him, this lazy bastard sitting there. And was not a single occurrence. They all, hang like that. Well, Wutaraka got tired, so he speared the fool. Yeah, speared him to death. He sent him to Jesus. I would like to see the after picture because this is just the before picture. This is not there's not much to celebrate here. Anyways, let's move on. Tintin au Congo, Macron au Congo, Bill Clinton, Justin Trudeau in Haiti. Yes, this is not jokes. This is very serious matter. Because when whiteness is godly, permeates our world, literature, it's on TV, it's everywhere, it becomes subconscious. And so after the earthquake in Haiti in 2010, where they estimate that around 300,000 people had died in a matter of seconds, because of course the impoverishment of Haiti over decades made our population so vulnerable that an earthquake that was only 7 point something caused all of this damage. But as if this disaster, this man-made disaster, when I say man-made, I don't mean that it was some criminal in Washington, D.C. that caused the earthquake, although, President Hugo Chavez said this is something to investigate. That's not what I'm talking about. I say it's man-made because the vulnerability of the population is not something that was natural. This is something that was caused by the kidnapping of Africans that were displaced, who were worked to death on that island. And when they created an oasis of freedom for themselves, all of the white nations, French, the British, the Spanish, the Americans, the Germans, they all conspired and ransomed Haiti throughout its history. At another time, we can talk about the details of how this happened. And so the impoverished black population in Haiti was not ready to face an earthquake in 2010. But that wasn't sufficient in terms of disaster. The whole world said, we're going to come to the rescue of Haiti. People were collecting money all over the place. Here in Ottawa, we organized concerts and, organized for containers to go to Haiti so that people who lost their limbs can, learn to walk again. Many of you watching this program this evening might have contributed your own money uh, to the people who were collecting money to help with the rebuilding of Haiti. And this man, Bill Clinton, who was a former US president, started claiming all around the world that, well, it is a disaster, but we're going to build back better. That with all of these resources being collected, Haiti is going to be developed and it's going to be beautiful and blah, 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 blah. And Bill Clinton, who was already in Haiti as the UN representative, the representative of the UN Secretary General, and he was peddling a program there already, like there are all kinds of little pet projects that he had in the back of his mind. Wow, this is a bonanza. I'm going to take this money and make my projects come to fruition. But what were these projects? There were all kinds of meetings at the United Nations on March 31st, 2010. They announced $13 billion collected to rebuild Haiti. And all kinds of governments were pledging and this and that, and it was basically a fanfare. And I recall several interviews that I gave at the time saying that I don't understand. We were at the time estimated to be over 6 billion people on the planet. And of all of us, 6 billion people on the planet, somehow they identified Bill Clinton as being one of the most trustworthy people to collect that money on behalf of Haitians. They couldn't find a single Haitian who was trustworthy to manage that money. So God is white, whiteness is godly, Bill Clinton is white, Bill Clinton is worthy of managing that money. Right? Forget about the fact that Monica Lewinsky's boyfriend had no business legally, morally, to collect that money. But he did. And where did that money go? Well, I can tell you that since 2010, there has been demonstrations in front of the Clinton Global Foundation because both Hillary and Bill Clinton and Chelsea Clinton, their daughter, have been accused of embezzling the Haiti rebuilding funds. But this is not a single occurrence. What happened in Somalia in 1993 when Canadian soldiers went there along with the other whites claiming that they were going to help the poor Somalis? I really encourage you to check out this book by Shireen Razak, Dark Threats and White Knights. It's a very, very important read, okay? Because this book explains exactly how this situation happened in Somalia and how, when the investigation was supposed to be conducted, instead of blaming the criminals who tortured 16-year-old Shireen Razak, Shidan Aron, the young Somali who was accused of stealing food, these white criminals tortured the young boy, sodomized him, and then killed him. And then when they were doing the so-called investigation, they claimed that these good Canadians who left with all the good intentions, Africa turned them bad. Yeah. Whether it is Macron sitting here like Tintin, or Justin Trudeau claiming to know how to solve the situation in Haiti, organizing coup after coup. It is that same folly of white supremacy that has brought our world to the current state. But there's good news. The good news is that the party is almost over. Yes, those of you who watch Wakanda, and the fact that in the last episode version of Wakanda, they had a little message about the Haitian Revolution there, but that's fiction. Reality is actually more drastic than what you saw in Wakanda. Yes, they had lied about our history, but what is more important for us to realize is that this is reversible. And just as when I was writing Viv Bondye à Bas Religion, I took the time, as you can see here on page 131, to say that when we expose the double deceits, God is white and whiteness is godly, We are not here doing this to denigrate our white European brothers and sisters. On the contrary, we want the person watching this program or reading our book to come to the realization that our beautiful white European brothers and sisters are only one of a multitude of beautiful men and women of all heights, of all shades, of various cultures who are all over planet Earth. And it is not about mobilizing ideas, uh, uh, um, you know, ideologies for the benefit of a small segment of humanity to the detriment of the vast majority of humanity. That's what we are denouncing, and that's what we're saying is not attainable. Because we will lose the beautiful potential, the powerful potential of humanity if we continue this course. So, when we say God is not white and whiteness is not godly, listen and listen good. We had not said that God is black. God, as we define it, is God. And in reality, if we are honest, to us, God is unknown because all we know is what we know. And we don't know the beginning of all things, if we are honest. So, I don't even talk about devil because I don't believe in any little creature that's named devil. Because again, that's another problem. We commit all kinds of atrocities and then we offer to the feeble the idea that, well, it's the devil. No, it's not the devil that made you drop that bomb on Nagasaki. You, American leaders, dropped the bomb on Nagasaki. You dropped the bomb on Hiroshima. You kidnapped the Africans from the west coast of Africa. You are deporting the Latinos, the Venezuelans, while you are also causing political, economic strife in Venezuela because you have your mind on stealing their petroleum, just like you have your mind on stealing the lithium of Bolivia, on stealing the gold of Haiti, on stealing the uranium of Niger. Why can't you be content with what the United States has in its own country, what Canada has in its own country, what France has in its own country? Why must Belgium go and steal the cocoa of Ivory Coast or Switzerland when you have already stolen so much? These are paintings or sculptures. This one was from Sainte Trinité, where my father was a priest and my grandfather for many years. And in La Tragédie des siècles, the Seventh-day Adventists would recognize this painting or this whatever, the depiction of white Jesus and his white angels. Let's not be comfortable with this kind of ridiculous images. Our goal here is not to make people comfortable. The Jesus business will soon collapse, just as you no longer need to buy Kodak films to take pictures. Africans will come to the harsh realization that white Jesus is a metaphor invented by and for white power. I grew up deep within the bosom of that ridiculous superstition. I know how hurtful the awakening is to one's soul. However, the liberating power which follows the painful period of confusion is worth the struggle. Imagine how our ancestors are rejoicing each time they see one of us finally break free. Let us stand up. Let the repair, the self-repair, continue. I invite you now to watch this Facebook post that a brother had put up about his confronting a religious. In fact, I'll end with that. But before ending, let me just show you the list of references and then what we will cover next week. So a number of key books, but I would say, you know, these ones, The Wretched of the Earth by Frantz Fanon, Peau Noire, Masque Blanc, Black Skin, White Mask by Frantz Fanon as well. Afrocentricity by Molefikete Asante. These are absolutely must-read books. I don't have the autobiography of Malcolm X here, but definitely important. The Destruction of Black Civilization by Chancellor Williams. It's important to share these readings. There's, you know, plenty of material out there that can help us make sense of you know, these concepts, these ideas that I have discussed and really just slightly touched upon this evening. And so my TikTok is giving me a hard time here because there you go. Next week, we will talk about restitution, reparations, and remembry. Yes, Emmanuel Macron and the French are asking the Americans to return the Statue of Liberty, and Naomi Osaka, beautiful sister, reminded them that, yeah, since we are about returning things, the French need to remember that they owe Haiti restitution and reparations, and we will talk more about that next week. Beautiful sister Naomi Osaka, you remind us of Muhammad Ali, who took great risk in the 60s to bring us back to humanity, saying, you know, I'm not going to go and fight the Viet Cong. And he risked his belt. You, I know, our sister, you have much to lose by taking those stands, but you've regularly done it. You've done it standing by Copernic, and now you're reminding the French that we need to settle the tab. Aibobo Puu, sister. Your ancestors, both on the Japanese side and on the Black African Haitian side, are proud. And I am mighty proud of you, sister. And, you know, can be femme. And yeah, continue to win on the tennis court. But I love the you realize that you are much more than a player, much more than an entertainer. And Nina Simone told us that, showed us that, and you, our sister, you keep showing us day in and day out how beautiful, how mighty we can be. Okay, so this is from a brother who posted that on his website, and that's what I leave you with this evening, because it's 5 minutes to midnight.
Your father, you are an Englishman. Your father destroyed Biafra.
Please leave, sir. Okay.
So you are asking me to leave the temple that I have supported my money with? I have bought books.
Because we are closed.
My children come here. You told them that it's okay to have a place, but when I want to now come to enjoy the same thing you are enjoying, you are pushing me out. But you told me that you are going, that in your father's house there are many mansions, that you are going to prepare a place for me, and then you will come back to take me. You never came to take me. I came here and saw you, and now you are pushing me out from the temple, and you say you have love. Look at you. What spiritual man are you? A spiritual man that chases a member of a church out because he doesn't say the same thing he says. I'm living. Am I fighting you? But I have to tell you the truth. Now the truth is bitter to you because I have exposed you. You are wicked. You don't have love in you. I gave you food. I gave you water. I gave you money. I came here and support you. But you are now chasing me out because I don't say the same thing you say anymore. You are a very wicked man. You are an Englishman. You came here 50-something years ago. With the same time you invaded Africa. You invaded Abbas. You invaded Biafra. I'm confronting the foundation that brought you. You came with a fundamental destruction to destroy the Igbos with your Jesus. You know that Jesus is false. You know that Jesus never existed. You know that he's a liar. But you brought Jesus to Africa and gave it to Africans and came here to become a spiritualist. You took our spirituality from Africa and came here and you gave us your religion. You think you can prosper? Everywhere is empty now. Come on, I'm going to buy this place. I swear to God. I'll pay for it. If I don't pay for it, call me a bastard. I'm waiting for the police to come. No, I'm waiting for the cops. Since you are taking me out from my temple, the cops are coming. The cops are coming. They will come here and you will tell me why you should chase me out from my temple. Because you think I have a liar.